Welcome back to another MotoGP Mac podcast with me, Mac, and Jake. How are you doing this week, Jake?
Honky dory, just our last one for the year, and Santa Claus.
It's a Christmas podcast. Come on, Jake. You will find that button.
Yeah, girl gave it to me. Born to be wild.
That's you, yeah. That is so you. That is so you. So, just as Jake said, this is our last podcast before Christmas, or for Christmas, or of 2022, actually. Next week, we have the Simon Crayford podcast, which is going to go out on Christmas Day. The last time that I looked at the poll, it was like, what was it, 46 to 54. So Christmas Day is going to be the day that it comes out. And I know people could be busy on Christmas Day, but it will be on YouTube and Spotify and all of those other good apps to download and listen. And it'll be there for the rest of time.
And give us some subscriptions. We want to kick over the 7,000 for the year. We're so close. We need 10.
We're so close. Yeah, we're so close. We need, well, as of actually today, now most people know we film these on a Sunday and put them out on Monday. And I'll just do a very live check. We're at 6,998 right now.
Oh my God. Yeah. Come on.
So we're almost at 7,000. Let's be cheeky and go for 8,000.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go for 8,000.
It's Simon Crayford, folks. Come on. We pulled off a big one on that.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun interview to do. Just some insights into it. Simon was actually only supposed to stay for 20 minutes and ended up staying like an hour and 40 minutes with us. So
yeah, we made him laugh.
We made him laugh.
He was really down to earth. We made him calm, down to earth. So you get the real Simon Crayford.
Yeah, look, it was an interesting for us to do.
Good guy.
Very good guy. And actually, speaking of that, we do get a number of trolls on the side, emailing directly, and listen, I have a thick skin. You can call me what you like. It makes no real difference to me. But occasionally you meet someone that is actually really outgoing and will take the time to spend some time with you to give you some good, honest feedback, but also help you to rectify that. And there's a guy called Mikey, and I'm not going to give his real name, but he goes by Mikey. And during the week, he actually took about 3 hours of his time to sit down and go through audio settings, how to do audio, how to how to use better audio software. So it took maybe about 3 hours to set me up with everything that I need. So
excellent.
Over the next couple of weeks. Now, the last 2 videos that I've done have been through that. So it is going to be still a learning process for me to get through it. But I have to throw fair play, and again, thanks a million, Mikey, because all I want to do is the way I approach my racing to anything is every time that I go out or every video that I do, I try to do better than I did in the last one. And people like yourself reaching out and giving good, clear guidance really does help. So thanks very much, and Merry Christmas, of course. Now, onto bikes.
Yeah. I got to say one thing. We have a good fan base. We really do. I compare it to other fan bases. We don't have the yo dude and the man Jixers are the best idiots are out there. We have actual knowledgeable MotoGP fans. Not
exactly
fanboys and all they care about is the brand, whatever they have in their garage. We have actual fans, and I just like to thank everybody for
Yeah, and listen, look, everyone's
taking their time and being good fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and look, everyone's opinion is valued. Do you know what I mean? As long as people are respecting each other, it's good to go. But on to bikes, and I suppose Maverick. What are you thinking about Maverick for 2023?
You know what? I think he's gonna. I think from what the insiders are saying, and they know more than we do, I think Oliveira is going to push him out. I think he's going to push both of them out. And if what you're saying is he's gone back to, the bikes, I need this for the bike, I need that for the bike, I need that for the bike. It sounds like a chink in an armor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it certainly sounds like he's he's kind of coming back to his Yamaha excuse days
Yeah.
a small bit. But I think, like, when I look at Oliveira's a really aggressive rider. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's going to push that thing to the fucking inch of its life every lap. Not,
Mhm.
not just the last 5 laps. And where Maverick, in my view, is very weak is at the start of the race. The first 10 laps, he if he doesn't get away with the front group,
And you can't
he,
do that anymore. You
yeah,
can't.
you can't give them 3 or 4 seconds because it's changed from what it was. Do you know what I mean? And I just think he definitely was getting the better of Aleix mid-season. Even after Aleix took that win, but I think Aleix's Assen ride really dented Maverick. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then Aleix had the off in Silverstone, which probably is one of the most scariest crashes that I saw in 2022. Do you know what I mean? How he walked away from it, but
And he busted up his ankle. And I can tell you for a fact, from somebody who can't feel his feet, like
well,
if
no,
you
it was his heel. Though it was
well,
his heel.
still your heel, you know what I'm saying? When you go to use your feet when you're riding more than you think.
Yeah, yeah.
So try it. When you can't feel your feet, it screws you up. It really does. For a lot of things, braking and
That's she
moving
said.
the bike back and forth. It's but
Yeah, but no, look, you're 100% right. But I just think when Maverick had a real, in my view, when Alex injured himself and I was dealing with the pressure of the championship, Maverick actually had a really good opportunity because
I
like all the
know.
focus was over on that side of the grid. Go and do your stuff. I do think Maverick was a step ahead of Aleix in parts. I think it was like coming from Salvadori to Maverick to race test and then on to Aleix once it was proven and reliable.
It was his time to shine.
Yeah, and that's really genuinely what I think is like, has he missed this time to blow everyone out of the water? Do you know what I mean? And to make sure that the Maverick Vinales, I would say, market price goes through the roof. Now saying this, right, Aprilia, and I said this recently, Aprilia have been very, very loyal to Maverick and boat riders. I will be honest with you, but they've been very, very loyal to Maverick, especially, and they're not known for being loyal. If you look at like how
Can't
Sam
be.
Lowe's and a lot of people like that were Bradley Smith, Tom.
It's a dog eat dog business. It's racing. You can't
Do you
be.
know what I mean?
I don't think they're any worse than anybody else. To put it that
No,
way.
no, no, no. But like compared to what they were, they
Mhm.
are being extremely loyal, in my view.
Oh my God! I was shocked when they hired. Come on, when they signed him again, he
Yeah,
wasn't doing squat.
I fell
All
off the
right.
chair. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, there was like, what? What are you? Their
Mm.
brains must have been in their ass at the moment.
Yeah, and I think, I think the new team manager in there, was his name, Rivola.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good one, and he's a connector. Do you know what I mean? He's not an
Right.
engineer, but he's a connector of getting everyone talking and on the same page. And I don't know if you hear it in the on the scene things and those with Aprilia. There's one there with Aleix, but you can just see how the communication is starting to flow between the team. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know. Have you ever heard it? No.
No, no, no. I have, but I don't. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't
You
pay
can.
that much attention. You're the more the rider guy. I'm the engineer guy. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly actually engineers talking about temperatures, weather. Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, that I've heard. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But
But I
it's
expect
again,
that between the. I expect that. I assume that they're all that way.
yeah. It's just
In the inner team, I would think they're all that way. You know.
yeah. No, look, it was just good to be hearing, and it's good to see, I suppose, that they were loyal to him. But I just don't know whether they can do it. Like, feck it, if Oliveira comes in and beats him, you know.
I think he's going. From what they're saying, I think he's going to beat them both. I mean,
Possibly, yeah.
I think he's going to
Possibly.
jump right up on the top of the pile.
Mm.
And Because like the Aprilia is such a good package that, I mean, let's face it, this will be the first time that Aprilia's had a real fast rider. Okay,
Yeah.
think about it. I mean, this is a fast rider, this consistent rider. They can show what the bike is worth. Now, when you say, is it better than Ducati? You really don't know. How close is it? You always said it's a close second to the Ducati. But how do you really know how close it is until you have a rider that's on par with the Pecco? You know?
I'll be very honest in that. Is like, I don't know, is it on the Ducati level? But for me, the only way to really find that out is get someone that was on a Ducati and see that they do better.
No, true.
You know,
I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see Jack Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or Jorge Martin, which I do believe is probably an option next year.
You think so? Yeah, I can see that.
I think he's very disgruntled with the thing. And before anyone talks or says about, oh, there's contracts, there's this, that, and the other, I'm going to say a simple word here, or well, a name. Lorenzo Salvadori.
Okay.
Got dumped in the middle of the 2021. Is Lorenzo? I can't remember. Salvadori used to be the second rider in the Aprilia team in 2021.
That's right. Yes.
Maverick
I
came
forgot all about him.
and all of a sudden, Salvadori was a test rider. End of. So your contracts can be annulled, broken.
Yeah.
You know, if they're going to be putting a lot of money into racing motorbikes, and you have a 10 million euro contract, they'll leave you sit in the corner and wait out your contract if you want it, or you can break it, take a little bit less, and go try and find something else.
Yeah,
up to yourself. Now, look,
I still worry about Martin. I every time you see Martin, he comes out strong. Ever since he had that wrist injury, and it's not arm pump, he seems like he's not finishing the races, and he always sprints out. He does good in qualifying. He sprints out, and he gets slower or a crash, one of the two. And you wonder if it's not the it's really true carpenter tunnel where it goes so long and then they can't feel their hand.
It's here as well. It's here. He's not fully. No, that sounds very bad, right? He's not fully there yet, right? In my mind, right? Like he's a superb rider. When he wakes up and decides, I want to win a race today, he'll win a race. But every single time, yes, he's had wrist injuries. You saw it in the Austrian race. He didn't need to go for that move in that corner. He had the speed. He was this and the other. And he's like, oh, I'm going to prove them. And it's all in the game. Like, they've made their decision. Make your fucking peace with it and move on. Do you know what I mean? Don't bring that shit onto the track.
It's not going to come back, you know?
Exactly. All it's actually going to do. Now, saying that, right, Ducati's decisions on riders, right?
Oh, they're usually horrible.
I don't know. Do you know this? But do you remember in Argentina when Iannone took out Dovizioso?
Yes, I do.
Do you actually know? And this is a beauty, right? Do you actually know that Ducati offered the seat to Iannone and he turned it down? They picked.
Iannone was supposed to be the star boy in that team for Ducati.
Do you know they offered it to him?
No,
after that accident. No, Gigi was fucking like a lunatic, going fucking mad, right, over it. But they still offered a contract.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the lightning fast kid.
Yeah. And they didn't offer him enough money, so he turned it down. And they picked up the phone to Andrea Dovizioso, and they offered him less money and the ride, and he took it. And they would have given him more money to stay on, actually, because they were offering him a good bit less than Iannone, and he took it. And he took it, and the reason he took it was he knew what the development plan was coming along. So I just find it fucking interesting, especially when these team management decisions come along. Do you know what I mean? Iannone was brilliant, but he was a lunatic. Like, he reminded me so much of Marco Simoncelli. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just like pure aggressive on the bike, And I think actually Marquez would have been scared of Iannone.
I don't know about that.
No,
Christ.
Like
I said, I'm a Marquez fan, but my God, he is like a wrecking ball.
it's called when the immovable object meets the unmovable force, and
it'd be like the NASCAR of motorcycles, smash, smash, smash.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? No. So over on this side of the track, we have the Derby race, and here we have the MotoGP race.
Yeah.
If the two survive that, they'll be in this. Do you know what I mean? But
I'm a Marquez fan, but I really hope somebody curbs him next year on that. It's just getting ridiculous.
How do you mean? On the
Marquez and him just bashing into running in the first corner. There's a foot, a 1 foot space, and he smashes between the two bikes, type of thing.
Yeah,
he's been doing that all his career.
Yeah, but precedent has been set from Rossi and all of those years too.
Yeah, Rossi and all that, they did it. I can understand. It's the next to the last lap or the last lap. Okay, you're going for the win, but not the first lap or the fifth lap or
like go back though what we said, at the very start of the show, you can't give people 2 seconds anymore. Do you know what I mean? And that corner you might lose half a second. Do you know what I mean? The next corner you might lose another fucking half a second. So look, yeah, I love people riding aggressive. There is lines.
So do I, but there's limits to it. There's
this Marquez documentary, right? Do you think this is a way to try, and I know it sounds very bad, right? But when we watched whatever it was, the MotoGP version of Drive to Survive, what was it, MotoGP Unlimited? The biggest winner out of that was not MotoGP. It was Aleix Espargaro. Everyone was like, "Oh, what an absolute!" So everyone got an understanding of who he was, and his following started to grow, and he became more of a character in the grid than anything, right? Do you think this is the reason why they're going after Marquez this year? Like they could not know at the start of the year predicted what was going to happen with them, right? With the operation and all of this. But
this is Honda funded, by the way, so it's going to be like a semi-commercial.
No, it's
I read it was a Honda had funded this thing.
No, Prime. Prime are one of the main funders. There is a TV thing. I did actually look into that because I was like, well, if that is a fucking Honda thing, then
throw it away.
I wouldn't even watch it, But it's not. No, it's
not good.
It's funded by Prime, and there is a mixture of Dorna money in there. That would be standard, even with Drive to Survive and all of those. There would be so that they could have, how would I say, certain creative control.
Yes.
But it's not. It's definitely not a Honda thing. But I do think it was a Dorna initiative, though. If I'm very honest, maybe that there's a backdoor money from Honda to Dorna, maybe. But obviously, look, that's just speculation. But I do think that MotoGP at the moment doesn't have a Rossi, doesn't have someone that you go to every race, and no matter what race it is, it's a home race for that person. That mega, don't get me wrong, Marquez is a mega star, but he's not onto the level of bringing people to the track.
He doesn't have that personality. He doesn't have people waiting for him after the race to say, "Hi, what you doing?" I'm doing great. I was coming so close, and I thought, "Oh, we got to crash."
How are you doing? I am very happy.
He was funny,
But look, I suppose, that's kind of the vibe that I've been thinking about lately, and I think is that the reason why they've decided to do this is are Dorna trying to build a megastar? To draw people to the racing, because look, their numbers are falling at every track. It's not
Well, at the prices that there are for the tracks, I mean, that doesn't help matters.
It is actually like MotoGP. To go to a MotoGP race is a quarter of the cost of the Formula One race.
Yeah, I know.
So
And Formula One has I don't even ask me how people are coming to Formula One because I'm sorry, subjective thinking. Formula One's like watching grass grow.
Yes and no.
You see the start, and then like I like it because I can see the tech part of it. But as far as the race is concerned,
yeah, I don't know. Look,
you know,
the old V10s, man, right? That would just like that would put a fucking horn on anyone. Like, do you know what I mean? The most impotent man in the world, like, can you hear a V10 scream?
Yes.
Full chat.
Mm-hmm.
And, looking at some of the corners, like, I've been to Spa, Francorchamps, and watching them go through Eau Rouge, right? And the fuckers go down there, man, right? And you hear them coming out of the hairpin, and it's full flat chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you're like, brave, pussy, brave. Because you can hear the fuckers lift through the car because of the screen. Nowadays, not so much. You hear the tire squeal more than the engine, so it's pretty shit. Like, but the amazing thing, and you get this sometimes too with MotoGP, it's the days after the race, right? It's like I always remember being. I was in Nürburgring to watch Formula One, and I was at a section where they came out and it was a pretty slow section, but they went through 4 gears, right? From when they came out of that slow section, they went through 4 gears. So it was like a V10, it's like, right? Mm. My ears were fucking ringing. I could still hear that sound 4 days after the race. I was like, oh. Now they have these fucking silent, hummy fucking things. And this is, I suppose, what I love about MotoGP as well, is that, the bikes, the fucking bikes are pure. Like, do you know what I mean? Or you're walking up to a race and you're late for practice. Mm-hmm. As the bikes go along, you're like KTM. Mm-hmm. You're outside the racetrack and you're like Yamaha. That's KTM. That's a Honda. Do you know what I mean? That's a Ducati. Do you know what I mean? And it's just brilliant. I love the different sound, the fact that you can hear them. But then you have the bit where you see the rider climbing all over it, controlling it. Or flying fucking off into the gravel. Do you know what I mean? And
remember, I was going to sponsor a race in Daytona for 10 baggers, supercharged baggers, to go around the oval, not the inside, just for a show, not between the NASCAR races, that had the 300 horsepower, roughly, baggers, as much cubic inches and as much boost, and just have them go in a circle, right? So it was no really rider involved. Everybody just has biggest balls you can have. You got 10 guys going off, and 10 guys could be at this, wheel to wheel for 10 laps. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they probably cross the finish line roughly the same, because they're all on the same bike. And the sound is unbelievable. Like, when you hear the whine and the thing, and they're just holding on, it really shouldn't be on a racetrack. God knows, But I thought, fine, I'll have these hillbillies packed to the roof. That would have worked. If you think, and look at this Bagger series, United States, it was very, very popular. And I'm sorry, if you had them in an oval and you just made it really simple and stupid to go fast, go left at a NASCAR race, those hillbillies would be going ape shit over that.
It's not as fucking easy as that, man. It is not. I raced a go-kart on an oval, right? Mm-hmm. Like a 125 6-speed shifter go-kart, right? Like
I rode Daytona.
140 miles an hour, like in these little fucking things. Driving in an oval is not just fucking, hey, Paul, let me turn left.
Turn fast, turn left. It's no, you're on the left, like, Buford. God damn you stupid bastard. Keep running into the wall.
It is probably.
Stop kissing your sister.
It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever actually done, like, because everything is tilted over. Do you know what I mean? Tires are fucking squealing. They're overheating on one side or the other. You try to, and then you have some dumb shit who thinks he's fucking Cole Trickle from Days of Fucking Thunder, and you're like, dickhead, get out of the way, will you? Do you know what I mean? And it's fuck. Now, look, I loved it. Do you know what I mean? And it was great to crash people off into the tires, right? But it was one of those races that I came out after 40 laps, and I was like, man, I'm tired. And everyone was like, you're just going around in fucking circles, like, do you know what I mean? Where compared to a normal go kart track.
Well, I raced. What do you call it? Believe it or not, lawnmower racing. I mean, this lawnmower engine was like 120 horsepower. It started with 35, and with the turbocharger,
Brilliant.
and it was on the dirt.
Fast.
And I was flying. I mean, it sounds. You can go on YouTube. I showed you that one on YouTube.
Yeah,
That was It did not look like a lawnmower.
They actually got Kimi Räikkönen to race a lawnmower there a couple of years ago. It was fucking classic.
Did they?
They did,
Well, they started in the UK, by the way. That whole thing.
Yeah,
probably lawnmower racing. Yeah,
a lot of things like that would start in the UK.
Yeah, the Wild Englishman. Yeah,
yeah. So anyway, back to Marquez, right? So do you think they're trying to build his popularity to make that megastar to try and draw people back to the thing?
Yeah, the next one will be, and Pecco. They're going to try to work on Pecco and Fabio too.
Yeah, I think that'll probably come too. I think,
and that's a smart bet.
The other thing then is sprint races. What are your thoughts?
Here we go. I think it's going to be but this is the dark horse. This is what it's going to bite everybody in the ass. Whether it's a V4 or an inline four, I think it's going to kill the inline fours. But even the V4s, if they don't, they're only leaving them 9 engines regardless. Mm-hmm. They're not changing the engine. You wait, they're going to change that. They're going to have to.
Well, yeah. Look, I think it's 1,300 kilometers extra is what it's going to add on to the engine mileage across the year.
Yeah, but that's not just 1,300 kilometers. That's 1,300 racing kilometers.
Exactly.
Versus,
yeah, exactly. And that's
I think more difference. Because instead of it's actually 1,300 more, but you're taking the actual base of how many miles they have, then it's plus 13. So you're going to have an extra, probably double that or maybe triple that of race miles versus practice miles.
Yeah, look, race miles and practice miles, in my view, are always much different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're never fully cracking on in race mile or in practice mileage. Race mileage, you are because you could just be in the back. No, look, you could be out the front and coasting too. But I think it's very interesting to concept to see now. The only problem that I have is that there's a couple of boring racetracks. Do you know what I mean? That are the bikes spread out. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking kind of like, Mandalika, they kind of spread it out a small bit. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, is it really worth the sprint race there? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be 2 races spread out. Now, look, I know, obviously, racing, and I think maybe they could have had a look at that. Like,
they're trying to pump up that area because they know they get a lot of press
you
there.
You definitely want sprint races now in the likes of Misano, Australia,
right?
Mugello. Definitely want the sprint there. Mugello can spread out a small bit, but again, if they drop the ticket prices for Mugello and learn their lesson. Now, I thought it was very funny, and I'll be very honest, right? And it's a little bit of a middle finger to Silverstone. But I don't know, did you see on the coverage of Mugello, they were talking about, BT Sports particularly, were talking about the attendance being so low, but they had Silverstone CEO on there, and he's like, well, look, this is what happens when you raise the prices of the tickets and this, that, and the other. And Joe, Silverstone ticket sales are going brilliant, and Joe, we're looking forward to having a massive show. And sure, for fuck's sake, when it got to Silverstone, the fans there didn't even fill a quarter of the track. Do you know what I mean? There was more people at a World Superbike race or a British Superbike race than there was at fucking MotoGP, right?
Didn't they have a F1 race though, like the week before?
There wouldn't be a lot of crossover between F1 guys.
You wouldn't think so? I would think, no. I thought they might have, somebody went to an F1 race and then they went, oh shit, I don't have enough money to do both.
MotoGP, to get into MotoGP in the UK is like, it's fucking dirt cheap. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, Silverstone is just a boring track. It's too spread out and too far and wide. Like I remember years ago when I was there, I walked from the main grandstand where the start finish straight was down to Stowe, and it took me an hour and 20 minutes to walk down that. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
didn't have to go miles out of my way, but it was just so spread out. Like they need to go back to Donington Park, in my view. Do you know what I mean? Where it's close, they're fucking racing, they're on top of each other. There's a couple of dangerous corners, which is grand. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's all kind of nestled and it's tight in there, and so fans can get in and get close to the racing. Whereas in Silverstone, you just can't get close.
Right.
But yeah, look, I just think with the sprint races, I think for the riders that would definitely not be threatening the top 10, and I think this will level out very quickly, right? So let's just take last year. If I was Alex Marquez, I would be setting my bike up for the sprint race. That's where I would spend my Friday practice session time. Does that make sense?
No.
Because so if I'm going to finish 16th place anyway, right, in the main race, right? Why would I continue to focus on that? Whereas what I could do is I could look to set my bike up for qualifying and the sprint race. So firstly, all I have to do is set my bike up for 13 fast laps, like bulletproof fucking fast laps, rather than 20. Do you know what I mean? Let's work on that setup rather than that. I would score 12 points for winning a race in the sprint or getting even close. Whereas 9 times out of 10 in this year, he couldn't set the bike up. He could get a couple of fast laps in, but after that, tire wear comes in and down gone. So I think the sprint races will actually, like Fabio Pecco and all of them, will have quite a hard time to try and balance it. Like it's not just going to be throw a set of soft tires into their race setup.
Yeah. This is really going to challenge the engineers too, because people don't realize, yes, the rider gives input to the engineer, but the engineer has to set that bike up. So, he's going to have to really be on his game, because now he has to do a 13, the sprint race, and then turn around and say, I got to know the sprint race and the long race.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that now his skills become more critical, because they're the only ones that set the bike up. Let's face it. I mean,
they do. Look, saying that, and we've seen it this year with Pecco. If they, in testing, find a good base setup, they're not going to move far off of that. Do you know what I mean?
No.
They won't. So like testing at the start of next year is going to be fucking critical. Absolutely critical, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. But I suppose for me, when I look at the sprint races, I just see an opportunity big time. Like if it was me, and I already knew that Nakagami's a perfect example of it. He's in and around the top 10, right?
Right.
But he knows that race days he's going to fade, because the Honda will fade, right? So would he go, like I would be like fucking mad, like trying to go, I need to try and find the most optimal setup that I can for 12 laps or 15 laps max.
Right.
And work on that, just pure solidly work on that, right? To try and score those points within that. I don't know. I just think for the people that are maybe out of the top 10 in the championship wise, that's something I would be doing, because if I can get a top 10 in the sprint,
yeah,
I can.
FIM Dorna, if you're listening, like you said, it's setup's going to be more critical, which is yet another reason to have open testing.
All Jake wants for Christmas is
open testing. Yes, that's my one thing. I want to go back to the old days. Yeah,
you can't go back to the old days, unfortunately.
Yes, in that case, yes, you can.
No. Now it's biting you in the ass. You're calling me oldie Mac fucking oldie. Now you're oldie Mac oldie.
You're talking like a rider again. Oh, yeah. The privateer. You don't have the rights. Blah, blah, blah. Victim. Yes. Without the factory, the privateer's shot in the ass anyway. So help out the factory, the manufacturers. And then, Goodyear had that good thing of make sure they do the privateers or the satellite teams another year. Make sure they hold on to that testing for another year. But
yeah, look,
they'll gladly do for the cost savings.
Yeah, but look, it is definitely interesting to see what they're going to do with the sprint races. Being honest,
What I want to know is what happens if you're not setting it up now to have more engines. What happens when they get in there and say, "Oh shit, we need more engines"? Right? Like, guess what? Now you're thinking of it, right? Like,
yeah, but let's be very fair on this now, Jake. Right? If the FIM turned around and said halfway through the season, we see your engine mileage, lads, is going up. We need every single manufacturer to agree to give one more engine. Mm-hmm. Every manufacturer will agree to give one more engine.
Oh,
the only one that probably won't is the manufacturer that's leading the world championship. Kind of like, we're okay with our engine mileage. Because they will just.
I don't know. It's the last thing they need to do. If you're leading the championship, the last thing you want to do is run out of engines because then you're starting from the pit lane.
Yeah, look, I think that could happen, but look, that's the other side of it. More races.
But again, if you need to throw another engine in there, is another reason for open testing. You need more testing, more engines,
more testing.
There is no downside to open testing. I'm sorry, that's the way that's just the way it is, pal.
Yeah. Look, I have no problem with open testing as long as they're not fucking going out there and testing. Oh, we have a titanium nut.
Who cares? That's their money. If they want to blow it, and test a 9/16 bolt versus a 9mm, that's their problem. Okay. But how are these people how is Yamaha and Honda going to catch up?
How are Honda and
you're never going to change. You're never going to change somebody who screws up.
Honda will catch up the very minute that they get a Calyx chassis, and Yamaha will catch up the very minute they build a V4.
Yeah, well, that 2 years down the road. With Yamaha at one time made 15 new bikes in 3 years when they had open testing.
They could just make one of those Pirelli tires or the Michelin tires go missing. Some factory in Japan could remake those exact compounds.
I don't know why you worry so much about if they're going to waste test time. I mean, that's their prerogative. That's their prerogative. I don't. It's their money. It's their time. If they want to foul it up, but I don't think they would. I mean, especially when they need it so badly.
I don't know. I just think they just need.
All of them are asking for it. Yeah. I mean, Honda held it up, figuring they had before because they said, "Oh, we got Marquez. We don't. They're trying to hinder everybody else's advancements." Well, now that's out the window because they're so far back. So now they want it.
Yeah, and actually, just on Honda, right? So the thing that I put out, like, Honda were always very good at putting all their eggs in one basket, and they always were. The data does show it that in the first one home and second one home, first Honda home and second.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I just found
it's worse than even your chart went out because you know what? They had 2 alien riders when they had Marquez and Pedrosa. Mm-hmm. What if they didn't have Pedrosa? I mean, how rare is it to have 2 alien riders on the same team? That helped out that put your eggs in one basket. If they didn't have Pedrosa, Mark would have been the only one that did anything for the last decade. And Pedrosa only won if somebody else, like if he jumped out in front of one race and somebody else broke or crashed in front of him. So, and God, think about the sprint races when they're fighting these Hondas, right? They're fighting them around the track. Now they got another sprint race to fight around the track. Oh man.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like the likes of the Honda riders will set the chassis up. Now, like, okay, I can't see Rinsmere and Mark setting it up just for the sprint race, right? But I can see Taka doing it for the headlines. Like, I can absolutely 100. It's like it makes sense, right? Get them to test parts, right? Like we all know Agura is in that seat 2024. We all know that's happening, right? The only reason Taka is there is that If they dumped him, then it's only Mark is the reference point for the old bike to the new bike.
Yeah.
Right. So he's there as a reference point. He's a quick test rider. I'm going to say that, right? You know, I think.
Oh, he
Brad
comes
is,
out. He comes out fast from the first lap. He just comes roaring out. He gives it all 100% from the first lap out. He always did.
Like if he can learn, Taka this year can learn to stay on the bike. Bradle is in
Yeah.
trouble for his test rider seat next year.
Yeah.
Or in 2024. And that, I think, will strengthen Honda beyond belief.
Oh, yeah. I think a faster test rider. Yes, I do believe it.
Faster test rider. That's
how old is Bradle
the
now?
same language as the engineers back in thing. So there's no
the
bike. Yeah. The bike is doing this. The bike is not what he wants. You know what I mean? That's so it'd be very clear and understandable language, I think. But I just think, I think personally, the sprint races, I think they're a good addition. I don't believe it was the right move to do it every race. I think kind of it doesn't spoil it, but it's just like thing. But then saying that from a fan on the side of the track, I fucking love the fact that I'm there to see them race, and I get 2 races out of the fuckers.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
Gung ho, fucking arguing rather than 2 practice sessions and and a wave. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you 2 hours time you're battling down there, and it makes the first time in I'd say about 10 years, is it 12 years, that points on a Saturday. Aston used to be the only time when points on a Saturday.
Yeah, Aston, because they had the sound laws on a Sunday.
That's it. Yeah. So I think they'd be great. I think they'll be great. Just not sure on the frequency of them. But look, saying that as a fan at the side of the track, that's what you're like. You don't go to watch them practice. Okay, you do when they're testing. Okay, but that's here and there. You know what I mean? You're probably already been at the racetrack the day before. You know what I mean? But you go to watch a MotoGP race. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you were ever to travel to a race, you wouldn't say, "I'm going to go watch them practice."
Yeah, right.
Exactly. I'm going to a race. I'm going to watch. I'm going to a MotoGP race. And now that you get it, and the weekend will be very, very straightforward in my view. So Friday, you have FP1, FP2, and that sets the Q1, Q2 for Saturday morning. You have a Saturday morning practice, then you've qualifying, you've the race, then Saturday, and then the same grid is the race for the Sunday. So I think it'll be quite interesting, if I'm honest.
I just keep thinking I'd love to have been there when they told Lynn Jarvis, right? Oh, what's the matter, Lynn? All the engines blew up. Oh, really? Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Lynn, by the way, you have to 21 more races. Oh, man, the gods are just shitting down my neck today.
You could imagine it. All right, it's like, can we turn up the power?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, let's turn up the races. But look, it's like it is the engine mileage. It's going to be a concern for Yamaha, of course. Now every team, it's not just Yamaha. It's going to be a concern for. But then saying that, I know this sounds stupid, right? But let's just we freeze everyone's engine this year, right?
Right.
And we keep the engine number the same. Then how do you make your engines last that extra 1,300 kilometers? You simply turn down the power.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought that too. And they're saying, well, they had power increases. I was like, I hope they don't. I mean, that could be deadly. Yeah.
But if we freeze their engines from this year, right? Ducati can afford it. Aprilia can afford it. Honda can afford it.
Yeah.
KTM can afford it. Yamaha can't.
No, they're really in a pickle.
The Yamaha cannot afford to, I suppose, So this is
and you know what? They knew this was coming. Okay, Suzuki's engines are blowing up, right? In 2022, right? They knew the decisions. Their engines were blowing up on testing, and they're at the same time they're going, "Don't worry, Fabio, we're going to have more horsepower." They were blowing smoke right up his ass the whole time. And like, how long has it been? They've been telling him that they're going to give him more power. We're on like the third year, so I don't see a
Yeah. I,
it turned in, like I said, it's turned into a physics problem where the crank is just too big. It's already cut down as much as it can, and somebody says, "Well, we got to cut it down. We need to be 30% less." I can't. So I don't. Poor Fabio's got to ride every lap, every corner. You know what they will do though, because all the press is on this, they're going to give him power for like the first couple races, right?
Oh yeah,
and then go. Then
wear an engine.
Turn it down. You know what I mean? Maybe the press won't notice it. We can't make it look like we came through.
No, look, they'll make it look like not like a mechanical problem, but they will build a case to Fabio saying, "Listen, you can decide this. We keep going with this power output. You will start in the pit lane twice this year. Your choice, boy." That's what they'll do. They let Fabio dictate. They have to.
Man, he's going to be so.
They can't turn around to Fabio and say, "We're going to turn this down," because then that's a problem with them. But if they turn around to Fabio and say, "This is what we're seeing in the engine wear rates. This is what we mean. If we keep going like this, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have two decisions here. You either start in the pit lane twice this year and we go hard at it." Now, you can strategically do this. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Isla. You can strategically choose the races where you're not strong and take that engine and suffer a small bit. Do you know what I mean?
They did that in Mugello last year.
They did.
Turned up in Mugello, right?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And then he said the handling was absolutely horrible. Now, I believe that they can make that chassis adapt to the greater horsepower. They were always good at chassis. Okay.
I would be more confident in Yamaha turning around a V4 project, getting the engine and chassis tuned faster than Honda.
Oh yeah, if they had open testing.
Just even with Yamaha the way they are, I think they just have the knowledge of how to make a sweet handling bike.
Yeah, they always were. That's their DNA. They were always good at making it
right. And like let's not forget as well, right? It's with Marmoni. It's not just Marmoni, the engine.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's a full engineering Marmoni group for a couple of hundred people, I would presume, or even if it's 20 people. Do you know what I mean? These guys are fucking specialists in an engine, right? So it's not throwing shit at the wall and saying, "Will this V4 stick?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is like these are okay.
We've done this before. This is not our first rodeo,
Exactly. Like they know while it's all IP protected and whatever, they have an engineering concept of what the Aprilia engine is.
Right.
So it's not like a dickhead just going like, "Oh, he's never designed a MotoGP bike before. Let's give it 100 million horsepower." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys understand that the engine needs to be drivable, do you know what I mean, on the edge of the tire or coming out when it breaks traction, what happens. They now know this. So like, yes, it is going to be an expensive project for Yamaha to go and do it. But the people that they have involved are they're
all European who are used to having innovations, who are not afraid to fail and then succeed. Problem with the Japanese, they're not allowed to fail. And nobody wants to fail, so they keep going on the same path.
The first thing that they will like, and this is one of the things that I'm really big on, is that
Japan does not. The Japanese have a thing where we say you learn by your mistakes. They do not. They think you have to succeed. One guy makes a decision, everybody follows it to the end. They'll follow him off a cliff. That's why
exactly. But look, saying that, right? And look, this is the way I run through things in my own mind. So if they gave Marmoni the go ahead for a V4, just say, right, and they can run millions upon millions of test miles to make sure that V4 is reliable, putting out the horsepower, whatever, in Japan on stock Michelin tires, just say for instance, right?
Yeah, because it's just
All
the engine.
this is just reliability,
Mm-hmm.
reliability, right? I am very confident in Yamaha's ability to turn around then mid 25, right? First test of mid 20, of 25, they roll out that V4, right? Then they're allowed the full tire allocation of 120 tires for testing, right?
Right. We're still in a hell of a lot. That's my
It's
point.
still
Again,
it's still not, but
it's nothing. It's still
but
very
it
little. Yeah,
but
nothing.
they're working on Yamaha's strong point, which is chassis.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe in the likes of we saw with Calix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they took someone like Calix in to say, okay, help us with the baseline of the first chassis,
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. I think while it would be expensive, I think they could develop that chassis within the year. Do you know what I mean? To get it ballpark, not 100%, and no one would know, and no sane person would say within the first year that it's going to be right. Do you know what I mean? But again, I think I would be more comfortable with Yamaha working on a handling issue than the
Yeah.
engine issue. And yes, there is plenty of scope within the inline four. Lynn Jarvis had said, that's where we're focusing on. The way I took and read that article is that this is their only immediate action that they can take. Do you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
can't just throw out a V4 now, right? And the inline four will give the horsepower that hopefully Fabio wants. It will cause other problems, but
They're out of development though. Don't have any
I think
misconceptions
I
about that.
personally think it's near end of life
Yeah.
in my view. And as I said, I'm a Yamaha fan. I want the bike to develop, and like I also listened to Rossi and in what he said, and he is very critical. Doesn't normally give away much, but he's like, and I thought this was excellent in the way he said it. He's like, we just need the same tools to fight them. If we
Yeah.
have the same tools, what he was saying is that like I'm so confident in my riding ability. If I have the same tools, I can outshine them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'd like to see different kinds of things. I'd like to see an inline 3, but that would actually make it smaller. But and again, you get 22 pounds less. You're allowed to have 22. The bike has 22 pounds less on, but it wasn't enough. That's why the cube never worked in Aprilia.
Yeah. But look, I think it'll be interesting. I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
Right? Who's 1, 2, 3 in the championship? 2023.
Ooh. Oh no! I'll go. I'm gonna go Pecco again.
Okay, that's one.
Pecco. I'm gonna go the beast, Enea Bastianini, and I'm gonna go Fabio for third. I will. I'll go with this set standard.
Okay.
But I hope I didn't just doom him because I'm horrible. God hates me.
Yeah, so you just
I told you about the horses dropping dead when I bet on them. I mean,
yeah. I'm gonna go with the beast for champion. I'm gonna go Miguel second.
Ooh.
Pecco third, Fabio fourth. That's going to be my top 4.
Oh, you're going 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I go Marquez. What did I say?
Well, I couldn't decide between Pecco and things, so I just
I'll go. Oh, wow. The tough one I have is fourth would be Oliveira and Marquez. I'm still a Marquez fan. I mean, as long as he's the only problem I'm going to see him having is staying on 2 wheels. He's going to fall. It's just like fighters when they go to change their style, they always end up when the push comes to shove, they always end up going back. A puncher always says, "I'm going to box this time," right? And they always fall back into being a puncher again.
Yeah.
Marquez is always going to go. He's going to start and go. Okay, I'm going to outride this. I'm going to ride around the problems. I'm going to push it farther. I'm going to push it faster. I'll make the bike do what I want, and off he goes.
Now off he goes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, a question in from John from ASMAC.
How you doing, John? Welcome to the site.
So John has a very simple question. Now, John could be a competitor, or another person creating content on MotoGP, but he's like, what? Or he could be very genuine. I don't know, but I'm still going to answer the question anyway.
Okay.
So he's asked, what are your plans for 2023 for MotoGP, Mac?
We're just going to be our same loving self. Conservative, exactly. Yes, never a piece, never always PC, politically correct.
Jesus,
never make waves,
Yeah, never make waves.
I'll tell you, folks, we're always unbiased, and we'll always tell you like it is, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whether people like it or hate it, or they don't want to hear it, or but we're always going to be honest with you. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and I think that's true. How much content are we going to create? I don't know.
No.
We do plan to keep doing the podcasts. We do plan to do the streaming of races. We do plan to do videos as much as possible. Will it be every day? I don't know. A lot of people have asked, I did put out a poll ages ago and said, will I reduce down? And I found myself into actually a nice little system, I suppose, right now. We're not really under pressure to create content. Do you know what I mean? It's nice and it's flowing. And as long as that happens, I will keep creating it. And if it comes to days where there's no content, well, then there's days where there's no content. Mm-hmm. I think I would prefer to be putting out stuff that I'm comfortable putting out with, rather than just putting something out for the sake of putting something out. And next year I will be definitely moving the channel forward in more technical ways. So I'm already looking at new streaming software, so that the podcasts, how the look and the feel of the podcast will change quite a lot. Yes, so yeah, so a friend of mine is helping me understand what exactly that is. And Jake, just so you know, it won't change for you. Jake, although Jake loves engineering, electronics, and anything technical with electronics, not Jake's forte.
No, I'm the mechanical engineer, yes.
Highlights of Jake's year this year was that, he finally downloaded WhatsApp. And yes, folks,
I'm lucky if I get the phone to work right. I'm old, for Christ's sake,
I did have to actually give him instructions how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you managed to plug in the microphone and the headset.
Yes, I did.
This has been a really technical year, but don't worry.
When it comes to electronics, I can't find my ass with both hands just to put it,
Yeah, and look,
I don't want to learn. I don't,
Yeah, but look, sometimes you're going to have to learn, Joe.
I know.
Yeah. Old man shit, that you normally accuse me of. Do you know what I mean? Living back in the
grandpa.
Great grandpa, right? If I'm grandpa, you're great grandpa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm the old one.
There is an age gap there. But no, look, I think just to try and progress the channel on, and
we're going to do more World Superbike too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I put the feelers out as well to have guests on, even from all areas, and hopefully we can just try and do that throughout the year. Not every week, not every month, Joe. Whenever we can get someone that would like to come on. And also one of the things I really want to look at next year is actually about rider psychology. It's a really, really interesting topic. How some riders can be even beaten before the race. A video that I'm going to do, and hopefully I can get Mikey to explain a little bit more about it. So it's quite interesting, but there's a lot of stuff that I do want to do, and hopefully I will be at the Portimao test next year, which I think will be interesting if I can get there. I will owe Simon dinner, so probably be an expensive dinner knowing Simon. But other than that, look, I think, Joe, I don't figure that we'll change our approach to the channel, but I just think we'll just try and improve on cameras and audio and content. I believe is quite good. I'm quite happy with what goes out. So
Yeah, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. Though we started, you could hardly hear me. Remember?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when
I
you
don't know if
got
that's a good thing or a bad thing.
then we got your microphone out to reduce your audio by 50%.
Yeah.
And now it's some sort of natural way, which is very good. And look, it's been a privilege, I suppose, to see how the channel has gone this year. Probably one of my most proudest things is that I didn't even believe that I get past 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Here we are today at almost 7,000, but 6,998 to be precise.
Yeah, and we've had more competition too, and we're still growing past them.
Yeah, and look, just to give some people kind of an understanding of how things have gone on, we've had 1.9 million views and 75,000 hours of watch time of people watching the channel over the course of the year, which is something I suppose I would never have thought possible at starting off. And
you are the best one out there, really are. And I'm just patting my own back. I mean, just all the videos you have. One of the reasons I went with you with this was, Mac is a Yamaha fan, through and through, but he always was told the truth, good or bad. Like he doesn't sway towards Yamaha and give him excuses and all that sort of thing. We see that in other sites where the guy will give a brand another, excuses because he owns it. He's a fan of Honda, so he gives him a break and says this. He'll leave stuff out. You never did that. Like,
well, no, look, it's. I think
we've always been straight with everyone.
Yeah, I just try to keep the things with a bit of integrity. Do you know what I mean? While I do want Yamaha to win, and every weekend I do want Yamaha to win, I am also trying to be real that I know, I understand what Yamaha's problems are, and I think majority of the world understands. Doesn't mean that I don't hope that Fabio will have a great race and win. But like through the year with Yamaha, we saw that Yamaha, Fabio won in P1, P2, and the rest down the back. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't, and like there is no way that you can say that that's acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Even as a boss or someone at work, if you see someone that's really performing and the rest are not, like, okay, you look into why that person is performing, and if the others are, if he's doing everything right and the others aren't doing it, it's the same way of looking at it. But I just think, look, we've been very lucky, and we have some great people on the side. We're very lucky to have nearly 7,000 subscribers. I promise to keep my end of the deal and trying to put out as many videos factual as possible. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely. Will I apologize? Probably not. I'll move on and say I got it wrong and move on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
hey, I know I've learned from our members too. I'm learning all the time.
Yeah.
And so if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. Usually we make a mistake is because we heard it wrong. Like I said, I like the thing. I read that Honda was funding that video, and it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Just read it wrong. Somebody, assumed it and wrote it down. So that's
yeah. And look, these things always come out. But look, I think one of the things that I've always been very happy with is, like, if people question where I got the article, I will always send them the article and say, okay, that's where it is. Do you know what I mean? And it's probably some of the reasons, as I've always mentioned, that I don't watch other creators' content, is that when I read an article or when I come up with a story or a story comes out, maybe it's on 2 or 3 places. Yes, I will read them, but my opinion that comes out in the video is my opinion of what I've read. It's not the story, it's my opinion on the story. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's quite powerful in the way that when I watch MotoGP races, my boy is into soccer. right, and has 0.000% interest in motorbikes, Formula One, anything. So on a Sunday morning when MotoGP is on, the racing is on, he'll be in one room and I'll be in the other room watching the race. So I watch the race. I normally would watch it on my own. So having this side is actually just an area where you can watch it with people that are that just absolutely love racing. And I suppose then I've been always told that I always have an opinion on MotoGP, and this is just the perfect outlet to put it on there. Never said anyone has to agree with what I say, but I just think it's great to have the question or something out there to ask about it to drive the conversation. 2023 for the channel, I think, will be quite a fun one. Hopefully, we can get a lot of guests. We'll keep this podcast going for sure.
And it's easy, folks. I never did this before. I just got a big mouth, so anybody can do it.
A big mouth, yeah.
No one ever said I was shy or bashful. Yeah. That's for sure.
That's it. And look, it suits some people, and it doesn't suit others. I will also be covering the TT, and that is a big passion of mine. The Isle of Man TT. Absolutely adore the TT racing.
It's in your blood.
Oh yeah, and you never get rid of it. Like sitting on a ditch and a bike flying past you, and like if you had like a little stick, you'd probably tap them on the side of the head. Like it's just. But look, for me, I think it's very hard to say where the channel is going to go. I'm going to still stay committed to doing as much videos as we can. But it is Christmas time, and videos will still be there. And the only reason that I haven't slowed down on the videos is I haven't run out of content to talk about. And I'm in quite a sweet spot when I'm doing my video creation now at the moment, so it's a little bit easier for me to get going. Can't believe already it's what, 5 weeks? I don't know. First week in November was the last race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the last Superbike race.
Yeah, so we're 5 weeks since racing stopped, and I remember the last time we did 5 weeks, I was nearly suicidal trying to create content.
I'm surprised how well you've been doing.
So yeah, so look, it's been good. Next year will be strength to strength, I think. Try and get more guests, have a bit more fun, build a bigger community, and then you never know what happens. Maybe try and find ways to get into the MotoGP paddock. Oh
man, that'd be a tough one.
Oh yeah, after what I'm saying yet.
Yeah, they're gonna throw it. They throw you out. They're like, Yamaha and Honda be like, you go. You have your R1. I don't think you could take it to the dealership anymore. They'd be like, post you up there. Get out.
Yeah. Whatever you do,
you can't have him here. Go away.
Yeah, make sure you blow this engine up. Yeah. Or the minute that it's out of warranty, boom.
Yeah.
set it to nuke itself. Yeah.
I know. I've done a lot of builds over the years. All my bikes, of course, I must have had 50, 70 builds. And all the bikes I did, when I say builds, I upgrade everything. And I'd always use different setups, different brands and things of that nature. So if you're doing a build, feel free to ask if you want to, what should I buy or things of that nature. That's, on the site. I don't mind helping you out, So you don't go from something that's good or something that's just bling,
No, you can't beat a bit of bling.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. Don't be a wise ass.
You can't beat a bit of bling. But yeah, look, I think look, it's been so far been a great year. There's a couple of days left in the year. I'm excited to get a video out every single day. Sometimes I got 2 or 3 videos out, so I'm excited to kind of finish off the year and make sure that I didn't miss a day. And then 2023, let's see what it holds. We'll keep going, keep developing, keep pushing. Sound like a MotoGP team.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. We've really predicted 2022. I mean, we predicted a lot of things that happened before they happened.
Well, I wrote Pecco off, and I did a video writing Pecco off. And as I was watching that video, and I very rarely watch my own videos, and this is actually something I let you in a very secret. There was at stages like when I went on holidays for 2 weeks, I was nowhere near a computer, so I couldn't create content, right? So I had to make 2 weeks content before I left. And reading some comments on some of the videos, I couldn't even remember actually making the video because I had done so many in the day
So
that
long ago, yeah.
I was just like, did I actually say that?
Yeah.
But yeah, look, we predicted a lot, and I actually remember listening to the Pecco one, and I was like, actually, do you know something? He could still do it. Do you know
I
what
remember
mean?
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
it was kind of like a light bulb moment went off in my head, and I was like, he has absolutely fucking nothing to lose now.
Yep. And I said, you're
Balls to
nuts.
the wall. Yeah, yeah.
And I said, no way. It's going to be Fabio. I didn't get the. Remember, we were going to have Mac was right. We couldn't find a pink shirt that was big enough for me. Just in case, so you know what happened there.
Don't worry, I will find one.
A
I'll do
3X T-shirt, it's
I will
pink.
find one. I
That's
will
one
send it
big
to you.
broad.
Don't you worry. Yeah, I will find that, and I'll find an embarrassing moment of when you're to wear it too.
I'll do it too.
You will. You've no choice.
Yeah.
You don't, because like you'd have to just live for the shame of it every time. Because I would never let it go. So,
I'm hard to shame. You know what I mean?
Yes. But look, it's been an absolute privilege to create videos and have everyone on. And thank you so much, Jake. And to Ghost Rider and Sleepwalker as well for all the fun and the crack that we've had throughout 2022. Long may it continue for 2023. And let's all just try and aim to be here this time again next year. Jake?
Yep.
No fucking stupid shit in your bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been genuinely, it's been a privilege to be able to do this, and just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
All that.
We won't be back until the first Monday of 2023, because next week we have Simon Crayfire interviewing on Christmas Day. So we will be creating it Sunday, 2 weeks time will be our next actual go. But again, look, it's just enjoy the holidays. If it's not a special holiday for you, enjoy the Sundays and the content. And always, we're always looking for people to come on the show. So it's not just our opinions. Always delighted to hear anyone's opinions, and don't have to be right or don't have to be wrong.
Yeah, I want Rich on here. Where's Rich Miner? Remember, I've been trying to get him on. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Rich Miner from Florida, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, he's from Florida.
Yeah,
the guy from the States.
Yeah.
He's still worried. He's like, oh, he thinks the Aero's ugly too. So you guys can, gang up on me from your,
actually
1960s thinking,
Actually, here just as we're talking about Aero, who invented Aero on the bikes?
Shit, I don't know. Ducati came out with it first, if I'm not mistaken.
Wrong.
No? Really?
Mm-hmm. So when So when I was looking at Simon Crayfire's Yamaha 500, so the Red Bull backed one, in a test I think it was Phillip Island is where the picture was taken. What did I see on the side of the bike?
Fins? What?
Wings.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Halfway up the side of the bike.
What year was that?
I don't know, man, but it was on a 500. So
years ago. It's gone long. That's what I mean. What year was that? My God, 500's been gone 20 some years ago.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. There's a useless bit of information for you. I was like, God damn it! When I saw it, I was like, wow.
And and God, I gotta admit, when it first came on, it was butt ugly. I mean, they used to just put. Remember when they first came out, it was just like credit cards. You know what I mean? Stuck on there. Yeah. Oh, it's freaking awful. At least it's molded now. It looks, it looks like it was built that way.
As long as they don't have to use steps to get onto the fucking bike.
Yeah.
Like they do in Formula. I know. Look, the Halo. I know people are going on and saying, "Yeah, the Halo is the reason." It's not. They used before the Halo came in. They used to have to use steps to get into a fucking car. Right? That's not a car. Right?
Yeah.
You don't open the door, get into it. You don't throw a leg over, get into it. Now, like if they start put fucking aero that goes around the fucking rider to try and reattach, I'm like, I'd be like, fuck off.
Or the thing doesn't turn. If they make it so like you can put gyroscopes in a bike, so you don't have to. It doesn't have to lean. If they start doing that, put real, 3-foot tires and gyroscopes, so the thing slides this way like a car. It's a 2-wheel car. That's way out of line. But as long as you're leaning, and they are
that's
within that box,
baby. That's prototypes.
But they already boxed it in enough where it can only go so far, and as long as it's leaning, they can only go so far. So
yeah. Look, I think it's very important that we just look at, like, I'm not saying aero. I don't like aero because it makes life easier for the riders. You love it, do you know what I mean? And it does.
I think it just makes it different, and it's especially at the horsepower and the speed you're at now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But look, I get why it's there. Doesn't make the bikes aesthetically pleasing. Some can. Like, I'll be honest, if I look at the Ducati, the Panigale, the small wings, you're like, okay, that adds to it. And when you look at the new BMW, oh, it's fucking terrible. Just like someone just put a fucking baby bib on the front of that bike, like, do you know what I mean?
I had a choice between a 2019 Panigale, right, and a 2020 because the 2019 was a leftover. Mm-hmm. Well, it was $5,000 difference, but as a street bike, I was like, and I'm old, I'm going, if I tip it over and I drop it, it's the $2,000 bill, or I go past it, my big ass, and I hit the fin, I'll crack it, another $2,000 bill. No, I do not want aero on my, on my street bike, but people do because that's why they have it on there to sell bikes.
Oh yeah,
most people like the aero.
I personally think a wing will make me go faster. That's the way I would think as a rider. Like, do you know what I mean? If he has a wing and I don't, I'm like, what am I missing? Do you know what I mean? That would be my natural go-to. But nope.
Wait till the Omega 1 engine starts coming back where you don't have pistons. Did you see that engine?
Does it make me faster?
The engine weighs 29 kilograms and makes 160 horsepower.
Yeah, that make me slower if I was on a MotoGP bike right now.
I don't think so. I mean, come on. I know, but I'm saying, and it's. I mean, the cubic inches is nothing. I mean, it's a 500cc engine. Did you see it? Look up. Go on YouTube and hit it. Omega 1 engine.
Okay,
it's
so
amazing.
I put that into the back of my Fiat 500 zone to be laughing away, like,
you'll be flying. I mean, that's really a revolution in combustion engines.
Class. But I think we'll wrap it up there. Again, Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a prosperous new year. Make sure that you drink up. It's Christmas. And, and very, very, very Irish saying is it's Christmas. So that's
my God, in America, they'll have a fit over that.
Yeah. So, so in Ireland, it's Christmas means it's an excuse for anything. So you want to go for a pint or a beer, it's Christmas. You have to. You want to have that second dinner. It's Christmas. You might as well. You've worked hard all year. Do you know what I mean? And just relax, chill out, enjoy, and we will see you on our next podcast in 2023.
Take care, folks.
Take care, folks. Enjoy and have a Merry Christmas.